Hi. So today it's going to be something kind of different because whoa, I've been trying to do this for quite a while, but honestly, I really don't know if I can or should because honestly, it's kind of a bit of a qualms with when it comes to privacy because you put yourself online and well, people are gonna know who you are and what you look like and oh no, and what you sound like. But then I think about someone who said, sorry, the fan is really crazy. And then I think about what other people said. Because success is um, relative if you are able to do something very embarrassing and very stupid. So if you're not risking to put yourself in a stupid or very uncomfortable situation, maybe things wouldn't happen for you. Things that you want wouldn't happen for you. Wow. Anyways, this is very. I have a very bad angle. Forgive that. This is a video about how to become art, or more specifically, how to make art. Wow. To make art, you would be well. When you say art, everybody thinks it's just drawings and illustrations, which is not real. I mean, it is real. Art is illustrations and drawings, but it's so much more than that. Everyone needs to realize that art is just. You can call yourself an artist even when you, let's say, dance, when you participate in films, and let's say you are a voice actor. You can be an artist, but you can have the ability not to draw. What I mean, because you may be a little confused because oh my god, are you telling us that artists can be everyone or anyone? Well, it kind of depends, but in a simple answer, everyone can be artists if they try hard enough, or if they put the work they want to, they're willing to put the work into it. What do I mean by this? First of all, to make art, you have to understand what kind of art you're making. Be that as it may, let's say you are an artist, or well, artist is the term for a lot of things. Let's get a little more specific. What if you are a an illustrator or cartoonist, and the thing is, you want to make it to the top. You want to be real with yourself, and you want to challenge the world in how they perceive art in the 21st century. Wow, it's kind of crazy, right? Here's the thing: you're probably going to have very, 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 very hard time because there are people that are going to fight you, or I guess you would say going against you, or competitors. But the thing is, an artist does not worry themselves with being against someone or having someone that they despise, or maybe like a rival. No, because if you really, really were an artist, you would realize to yourself that I'm making art because I want to. You need to realize why you're making cartoons and illustrations, why you're drawing, why you're painting, why you're sketching. You need to think about why you started in the first place. Because a lot of people, when they enter the industry, let's say, they get a little lost. And at the start, they really want to do a lot of the things they want. But then they get into jobs and they get into industries that make them do something that's contrary to what they want. And I'm just going to say, do what you want, dude. You're real, you're free. You can start your own business. This is what commissions are for. People set up illustration commissions, drawing commissions, because they want people. They're looking for people who will appreciate their art enough that pay for their art, and in return, they feed them with the very beautiful, majestic illustrations that they make. I don't think anyone's following me, so I'm just going to say it again. Do what you want to do. Mind your own business, like, it's okay to give criticisms, judgments. Everybody does that. But when you get into that tipping point, or when you get on that stage where you actually have a rival, and let's say it's not a contest. Let's just say it's not a contest. You will have to do what you are best at. So, rule number one, how to be artists: do the things that you're best at. If you're good at singing is an art form too, because it's music, and music is art. And if you're good at acting, then you can go into theater school or something. The theater, wow, you can get on stage, do dramas, and that's also art, since you're dancing, singing, and acting, which is kind of a lot, to be honest. Or you can be just like me. You can make beautiful stories and write. I don't really make beautiful stories, but you can write whatever gets your heart flowing and what gets the ebbing into you, or whatever flows out of your me. When I say things, I am very spontaneous, or when I write things, I tend to be very spontaneous. So a lot of the things I write are esoterically specific. They're in ways that you wouldn't really understand them the first time you would read, and the second time, and the third time, and the ninth time. By the 10th time, you would quit, and you would tell me, "Get a fucking job!" And I just want to point that out. I just do whatever I want. But that doesn't mean you're free to make everything. You can't, don't make something very controversial, because if you do that, and I feel like you're going to suck, because people are going to constantly harass you. People are going to be like, "Oh no, you're a bad artist." But the thing is, even when you write controversial things, let's say that if you have that artisticness, if you have a sense as to why you've written such piece, let's say you're writing non-con on AO3, and you put it in a way that's not just for the sake of making non-con. Let's say that you made it under very specific, very detailed, very logical and lore-wise reasons. I feel like people would still misunderstand that, and that's fine. People get misunderstood a lot. But then, you know that you did something good, or I guess made something good, because obviously non-con is bad, but the art you make, or that piece you've created, is actually kind of okay, or I would say complex, or it takes more than one look for you to really understand the intentions. You would be baffled, and you would ask yourself, what the hell was the artist and the author or the illustrator thinking when they made this? Were they on crack? Possibly so, but a lot of good writers were on crack, and Ernest Hemingway was depressed when he wrote stuff. And a lot of his works are pretty good. That's just an example, too. But back to that non-con situation. People are going to misunderstand, people are going to complain, but if you've written it for some good reason, there's a very, very good chance that people are going to understand, they're going to analyze your work. Because if you've made that something that's kind of controversial, it's worth analyzing. As to if you were just a crackhead, or if you really made this under the circumstances that really fit the bill for something that, let's say, fit. Oh my god, I just said that second time. Fit the story or the canon or the lore. There's some people that are gonna understand. I want to put Dispatch as an answer because there's a character called Invisigal, because I would say she's tragically complicated, or I would just say a well-written character. Why? Because she has issues, and these issues lead to her actions, and her actions get all jumbled up, and to the normal layperson or to the normal fan, people would say that, oh no, this guy is a rapist. Oh no. And I mean, sure, there are some truth to that, but don't overlook things that she's been through. Don't overlook as to why that happened, the circumstances, and I feel like it's also worth understanding that everybody has their own perspective. Oh my god! I honestly don't know if this is ever gonna work out, so I'm just trying to hold on. What else does it mean to be a good, or I mean, you don't need to be a good artist, just be an artist. You know, it doesn't really matter, you get better along the way. That's what I stand by. Every small step is progress, and progress is good. Anyways, that's the one. Yippee! To be art is to realize yourself, and that's kind of a little more psychological or philosophical than just making art, drawing and writing and sculpting and whatever it is. That's more than just making something. It's becoming the maker of all things, and oh wow, we're gonna ascend and turn into Socrates and think on a higher plane this time. Think of Maslow's self-actualization moment. There's what we call the mnemonics PSLS: psychological needs, safety needs, living and belonging, esteem, and finally self-actualization. When you self-actualize, because rarely anybody actualize, you're never gonna think about yourself anymore. I mean, not really, but you're never gonna think about gaining something for yourself first. You're always gonna think about doing something that's good for everybody around you. And that's the part where you really are self-actualized, and you're successful, and you don't have to be rich and very powerful to be one. Anyways,